he can have success with Luka, and the Lakers can still have success and everything else. So let me play this. This is coming from the presser yesterday. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here real quick. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to BK, Brian Kamenitsky, who asked the question about Luka and Austin Reaves playing together. So take a quick listen here, and we'll react to it together.
The people that say it can't work, I believe it. At one point last year when we were all playing together with the roster that we had, everybody was, really high on us, and everybody thought that we had an opportunity to win a championship. So when you lose one, series, the way that we lost it, we obviously didn't play the way that we wanted to. I didn't play the way that I wanted to. It's frustrating, but, before that, when we was, had our 20 games together, everybody in the media and everything was saying, oh, this team can compete for a championship. So I don't know why that changes off of one series.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. Let's kind of break down what Reeves said there. When he was answering that question, I was kind of sitting back and I'm like, is there anything that he's saying that's not factual? Let me kind of break this down for everybody, all right? I think that going into the playoffs, what were most people saying? Were most people saying Luka and Austin Reaves is not going to work? Maybe they were. Maybe just the noise wasn't as loud. But were most people saying, by the way, this is also the guy, and I'm counting myself, that for the last couple of shows that I've done, I'm starting to kind of, I think maybe come to the realization of if they're really going to build the type of team they need around Luka, Austin Reaves just might have to be trade bait because it's the best asset that they have in order to kind of build the team that they're looking for. We'll see what the Lakers end up doing. But is there anything that Austin Reaves said right there that's not accurate? Go back to when the playoffs were about to start and the Lakers gave themselves, what did they? They got to 50 wins, and I want to say they sealed up the number 3 seed before they even had to play Sunday's game. So they were now able to give guys rest, and now they didn't have to worry about, it had been so long since the Lakers didn't have to really worry about, the 7 through 10 seed and having to play in the play-in tournament, and you don't get that almost 5-6 days off. Lakers had the proper rest. They had home court advantage. They showed every team in the Western Conference and in the NBA. It didn't matter. They could go to Denver and go win a big game. They could beat the Houston Rockets. They played 2 games against the Oklahoma City Thunder back-to-back, and if Luka doesn't get thrown out, they might have swept OKC in those 2 games. They showed everyone with how flawed their roster was that they can still compete, and they're going to be a problem in the Western Conference. And the point that Austin Reaves is trying to make here is, where was everybody saying that I can't play with Luka and this is not going to work going into the playoffs? He's not wrong. I think, who was it? There was another person, maybe it was Vando. There was another person that kind of had a similar vibe. He's like, everybody here, everyone was picking the Lakers to win in the playoffs. Everyone was really high on the Lakers in the playoffs. And then we lose one series. Maybe it was a bad matchup. Maybe we finally got exposed. Maybe JJ Redick had it was his first coaching experience. Whatever excuse you want to make, the Lakers got ran in the postseason. But most people out there were picking the Lakers, and in one playoff round in 5 games, it's like everyone just kind of lost their tune and they lost that momentum. And it was like, nope, Lakers can't win. Austin Reaves is a bum. And it changed very, very quickly. I think kind of the beauty in the situation that the Lakers are in right now is they're going to walk into a season with, look, there's a decent amount of doubt. There's a decent amount of doubt in Austin Reaves. And whether you have doubt in him or not, I still think there's tremendous amount of value in Austin Reaves around the NBA. And I think that whether the Lakers decide to keep him or they decide to trade him, maybe they, allow these. I know what they're going to do. They're going to allow these next 3 months or so. We just heard Rob Pelinka say this a couple of days ago on Thursday when they had the presser. We heard Pelinka talk about how it's going to take 20, 25 games to have a good idea of who you are, what you have, what the team looks like, to make any kind of determination whether this roster, what kind of changes that this roster needs. But I do know this. I'm not sure if just my knee-jerk reaction, Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic long-term and having that much money going to those two players. I mean, Luka, it is what it is. The guy will make 50 plus million. He'll be worth every dime. But let's just say Austin Reaves is $35 million in the open market. Do you want $85 million going to that backcourt, or they're just, you only have a certain amount of money that's got to go to other places? I think it's a fair point by Austin Reaves. I think he's going to probably have a chip on his shoulder of what he's going to try to prove this upcoming season. I think he's going to certainly do everything he can to prove not only does he have value, but he has value with the Lakers. It sounds like he desperately wants to be a Los Angeles Laker, but I think he also understands that it's not under his control and he has no idea how a lot of this stuff is going to play out. I have as one of my topics here, are we underestimating the Lakers? I'm going to play something from Kendrick Perkins here in a second. Kendrick Perkins is definitely not underestimating the Lakers. He's talking about them with the utmost confidence. I'll play that in just a second, but I do want to see some people's reaction to the video that I played and read some of your thoughts. By the way, if you put something in here when I started the conversation, I don't know if I'll be able to go that far back with some of the comments. So just kind of update your comments if you got something that you want me to look at. Let's see what we got here. A lot of stuff on DeAndre Ayton. I don't blame you guys on that. Laker Nation churned on Austin real fast. I got to be honest with you. I think that's a very, very, very accurate comment. Everybody churned on him. And he was this like the golden child for the Lakers. He came out of nowhere, came up through the system. He had a very, very favorable contract when he signed that first extension. Everybody thought, my God, how's this guy not making more money than that? Rui's making more money than Austin Reaves. And now we kind of sit here, and it didn't take very long all of a sudden for a lot of people to turn on Reaves. And I will say this. I don't think there's a lot of Laker fans where any of this is personal. I think it just has more to do with Luka came in a trade, and because Luka came in a trade, it's that pairing between those two players. I think it has a lot more to do with that than anything else. Let me take a look here at a couple more. Coaches can game plan to attack your weakness, AR defense. Okay, so going back to the defensive side of things, that series against the Timberwolves was god-awful. Rudy Gobert was looking like prime Shaquille O'Neal. Chris, what's funny? Really, Rudy Gobert didn't look like Shaq until game 5, the elimination game. If I remember correctly, Minnesota shot, it was like 15, 16% from the three-point line. They were awful. They were really, really bad. And Rudy Gobert had a 20-20 game. And Anthony Edwards was bad. I don't think Jaden McDaniels was that good. I don't think Julius Randle was that good. And they still beat the Lakers. So it tells you a little bit about just how that matchup was just awful for the Lakers. All right, let's read this one. The one thing that's irrelevant in what AR said is how they did playing together in the regular season. Regular season basketball is not playoff basketball. You're not wrong there. But I think the point that he's trying to make is, how did everyone change their tune over a 5-game stretch? I think that's his point. I think the point AR is making is he didn't hear that many people saying that Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic and LeBron James, if you want to put all three of those players together, that they can't have success together until after that playoff series. But you are judged by the playoffs. So I get also what Westwood is saying here. I mean, let me give you guys a good example. I thought JJ Redick had a phenomenal regular season. I mean, I thought by the time the season was over, or the regular season was over, I was just like, what the heck? I mean, incredible what JJ Redick accomplished after his first regular season. By the time the playoffs were done, I'm like, this dude is inexperienced. He's immature. I mean, I thought just some of his antics, I guess you want to call it, storming off an oppressor before a game. I'm like, bro, grow up. Like, what are you doing? Like, these are fair questions. You did something that no other head coach in the history of the NBA playoffs have done, where you played one lineup for an entire second half. How do you not expect people to question that? And then also question, do you know what you're doing? All that took was 5 games. So I kind of understand too those that are, critical in regards to that. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.